Well, hello there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon here with I guess, special update on how things are going with the app and everything at this point. I'm gonna hit refresh on my little browser here. It lets me check and see if everybody can see us on Facebook and everything else, and bring up the chat where people can talk to us on there, and I can see a little feedback. Want to say hi. Glad to be back from Canada. Yes, I will probably shave by tonight when you'll see me on the air during our 6 and 10 o'clock broadcasts. But broadcasting from the home studio here today. Just kind of think we finally have some of the kinks worked out on this. That's what I was doing yesterday once I finally got back to town. And I'm looking kind of behind the scenes here. It looks like all of my different streams and everything are working correctly. So that's kind of a good sign there. Appreciate the patience for all y'all at home. Very glad to be home there. Joey and Teresa both saying hi there on the different social medias. I wanted to give you an update on some things we've been working on behind the scenes while I've been gone. Some that are, I think, really important. One of which is, if you have our iPhone app in particular, I have this. We had a viewer, and I think it was one of the last emails I responded to, so maybe I still have... No, I don't think I have their email up. I think it was Paul. A man named Paul emailed me right before we went out of town and said, hey, I'm having some issues with bandwidth and your app. We've got that fixed. We got on that immediately there with our folks at the developer, and I think this is going to help the battery drain issue as well. So what you're going to want to do before I talk about anything else, I'm going to pull up the App Store, and I promise I won't say anything important if you would rather just go take care of this right now. But if I just go to, what is it? MS Live. Search that real quick. Okay. So if you go to the App Store and you find the app on there, I've already downloaded, but you can see right there next to where my finger is, it mentions that I have a test flight version because that's our behind the scenes thing. But update the app if you're on iPhone. We've had a few issues from the beginning here. Very sporadic reports of the radar crashing. We think we might have got that, but the developers don't actually have the issue happening on their phones when they're trying it, or their test devices. So that has been a little bit of an issue there. So if you're one of those folks, the radar has been crashing, that hopefully is fixed. What we do know is fixed, if I can keep my phone on, and I guess I'll have to take it off of low power mode because that's how I live, is the app was doing a thing where it would, let me open it up real quick for you. So, in some cases it would lock on that home screen. But what would happen was this video we figured out was still playing in the background in some cases, even after you'd swipe up near the home screen, you go to whatever you got to go to there. Well, okay, obviously it's still playing there, but you get rid of that, and it might still be playing in the background. So we've got that bug squashed, thankfully, and that's going to have a big impact, I think, on some issues where we were having, in particular on iPhones. Like it was sucking down a little bit of a bandwidth there. So that hopefully is done, and that's going to help the battery life, because it was also draining battery life, because even though in the foreground it was fine, in the background it was not. So that is a huge fix. If you have our iPhone app, it didn't affect everybody, but it did affect some people. So I think it was mainly iOS 18.5, which is the current version. That should fix things. But if you know somebody that has our app, and maybe they're just waiting for the next severe weather event, maybe it's a kid or a friend, let them know they need to download the updated version, because what I don't want to happen is we get to the first severe weather event and we just take down the server because we have too many things downloading in the background as well as in the foreground, and it was killing some battery life. So download the update to the app. We fixed that. That is a huge fix. It's going to say bug fixes. You know how that goes when they release one of these bug fixes. Well, this is a huge bug to be fixed. So highly, highly recommend you update the app. This, I do not think, unfortunately, what it does not fix is one of the things that drives people a little crazy, which is the fact that when we go, which I guess I should hit play on that, I get the current time. Okay, so one of the things on that, when you go sideways, see how like the time there, and it's going to focus, trying to decide, is it going to focus on me? So if I move forward, maybe it'll choose to focus on that. But you see on that side there how the time in that is sideways. When you screencast it, yes, it does the weird sideways thing. That is not fixed yet. We are hoping to get that fixed in the new big release, which has some other cool things to go with the app. But yeah, unfortunately, as you can see, that's upside down. The top there doesn't rotate with it. So that's the reason why when you go to cast it to your television screen, it doesn't work right. A couple other really important things I want to talk about because we've had some folks, reach out about this. Let's talk about location services for a second here and making sure the right location. Oop, I'm clicking on stuff on the app. There's that little kind of teardrop thing there. I'm going to tap on that, see if I can do it in reverse. Okay, so you can have it where it monitors your location. Now, if it does that, it will follow you wherever you go. That's cool in that you will get alerts wherever you go. The issue is that will also suck down some battery life. So the question is that how important is for you to get alerted everywhere? I think that's important, but I understand if you want to, knock that back. That's fine. What I recommend doing at this point here is, add a location. You can choose, your city, state, whatever. You can also at the top there, choose it. Let's see if I can tap in the right spot from the map. And then you go in and you select wherever your location is. I'm just going to choose Little Rock there. We'll pretend it's Joel. Oop, and that's keying out because it's a green background. But you select that, you click accept. And then at the top, you click save if that's the right location, and now you're monitoring that. So I'm gonna turn off alerts for this first one here, and I'm gonna stop that there so it's not monitoring my current location everywhere. This relates back next to the question about alerts. We've had a lot of questions about alerts. Okay, so it doesn't look like the Android one has gone, but luckily Android wasn't having the same play issues that Apple was, so it wasn't having the same bandwidth and battery issues. The Android one was in pretty good shape on that. Okay, so if you want to change the alerts, one of the things, so you press the little drop down arrow there, and you hit the little pencil that's in the middle, right? Okay, and so you'll notice here that has, I love how the green goes clear like that, but there's a ton of different alerts. Maybe if I back it off, it'll actually focus better. Okay, a ton of different alerts that are available on here, right? We have been sending alerts basically, every time we go live. Some people love that. Some people absolutely hate that. So let's talk about how to turn that off. So if you scroll way down in here, let's see if I can find it. There we are. You'll see system generated messages, right? Right there. We have been sending those as message from trained personnel, right? That top one there. If you hate the fact that we're saying, hey, we're on a 5, hey, we're on 6, hey, we're on 10, number one, we're going to try to do a better job of making sure those are unique show to show. We showcase the thing that is new during that show. It is really stinking hot right now. So, I mean, there's not that much new. But as, we get viewer content in, and obviously as the weather does get more, not changey, but, dynamic, that's going to change a bit more. And certainly that's something we're going to be working on here. Even when it's hot, there's a lot of things that do change. We're going to have some unique, once I'm back kind of in the fold here, and it's not just Gabe, and Gabe has done a spectacular job, and Caleb helping out behind the scenes, and you've seen Maggie. We're going to get Maggie in the fold. The fact this home studio is working means we can finally get Maggie into the fold with her studio that we're getting set up, and we're so excited to have her a part of this. She's going to be such a critical member. But Gabe's done a great job holding down the fort and keeping all you abreast of what's going on while I've been gone. So I've been very, very lucky to have Gabe as part of this team. But that message from trained personnel there, the reason I'm holding this up is if you click that off like that, it still has the rest of those on, right? So when there's a weather message that we're sending, I sent this one as a weather message because I've been telling people on email to turn off trained personnel. Typically in the future, this would be one of those message from trained personnel that's going to come in, that's going to be that 5, 6, 10 o'clock reminder, hey, we're doing this. We will eventually switch to 9. I have the audio for it. I don't have it all lined up. That's where this is going eventually, okay? But you can toggle off that message from trained personnel, and you're not going to get those 5, 6, 10 alerts. I would recommend keeping the rest on, so that way if we're doing geo-targeted alerts based on your specific area and something we're seeing, which we will eventually get to the point where we have staffing to do that better, that's the way we do that. So I wanted to emphasize that on alerts. We've had a number of folks here. Oh, that. Hold on. It's not every day I get a Something on analytics on a crash, missing something on version that. Well, hold on. Let me forward that to my developer. Because yes, if you're wondering how this works, I get all your emails and then I have to kind of sort through them and send them to our developer. Is this something I need to worry about? Question mark. And I know some of this and I don't know others. And I'd never seen that email before, so I wasn't sure if that would count. So anyway, another thing on here that we talked about alerts. Let's come back to the app for a moment. Okay, so I'm going to leave message from trained personnel on just because that's what I want. And I did Little Rock as my, I guess, alert location on that. So I'm going to change that back where it's not Little Rock, because otherwise here in a day or so, I'll be like, why am I getting alerts for Little Rock? Okay, so that's on there. One of the things that we've had a lot of questions about has been weather call. And the weather call situation is still fluid, still trying to figure out some certain things related to that. You can sign up through weather call through us. I have not recorded all the updates on that yet. So I'm going to have to re-record my voice on there. That's on my list with my scribble scrabble there to get done this week. Got a lot of things on the list, but that's on the list. But if you tap weather call, you can sign up through essentially Mississippi Live Weather. And so, yeah, that's, if you tap that, it should get you to the right spot there, or you should be able to, I think, click register now and sign up. If you are a present weather call subscriber, you will continue to get alerts. Those alerts, I believe, will continue to come with a different voice from the old station. So you are still protected. If you want my voice, you will have to sign up, I believe, through this. You know, I'm not one for wasting money. I'd probably wait until my subscription was up, just so we're not doubled up. Choice is yours on that one. But in order to get my voice and the alert from us through weather call, the phone call setup, if you go to the app, there is a place there in the app that says weather call, and that's where it directs you to a page where you can sign up. It gives you obviously a little info on it. The price has gone up a little bit. I think it's going to end up going up across the board. But this also adds lightning alerts. Apparently my wife's calling. Hold on. Hey, I'm doing a live stream. Is there a problem with it? Are we good? Are you done doing the live stream? Nope, I'm presently on it. Oh, okay. No, we're leaving. Okay. Well, I know that sometimes, you know, you're like, hey, stuff's not working. So, oh, well, okay. Well, good luck. Okay, I'll talk to you later. I'm live now. Is that okay? Yeah, bye. Bye. Okay. Well, good. That means everything's working on the live stream. Typically, she's called me later. By the way, I see Jade mentioning how good a job Gabe has done. Gabe has done a spectacular job. I cannot say that enough. He kept what is an extremely complicated train on the rails. Because I'll step back. The easiest way to do this is to take a picture of what I'm looking at here, which looks similar to what he has at the station, except for times like 3. And so that's all of the stuff that, you know, I'm looking at here on the screen, and all the craziness that's, you know, I'm looking at. I'm trying to balance these 17 monitors over here. Gabe has done that, and he has done that after not really learning this until earlier this month. So Gabe and Caleb have just done a spectacular job. I cannot say enough positive things. I was so scared the train would go off the rails, and those fears were completely unfounded because Gabe has done a spectacular job. So I just happened to see that out of the corner of my eye. I wanted to mention that. Sponsors, the last thing on my list here. I know there are a lot of sponsors that have reached out and are interested in supporting us, and I appreciate that. I do have one person who is helping me kind of get some of those on the air. It's a slow process as we're doing that. I'm probably going to be bringing another person on here with some previous experience here in North Mississippi. So I'm excited about that. We'll be bringing them on here hopefully pretty soon. Just have to work out a few details. Give them a phone call again, talk to them again about it. The whole Canada trip was spectacular, but clearly it has complicated this launch process and some things I would have hoped to have gotten done. But that's all part of God's complication, and I recognize that, and I'm thankful Do not misunderstand me. I'm thankful I got to go. Who knows? Maybe I should just do a slideshow like we did with the kids. They made it through our first day up there, and then were tired and went to bed last night. So can't blame them for that. Last for a second, might as well make up that. I know having an issue on that. Second here. See if that's working. Check. Hold on. Let me just, this is a little small. What if I compare? Nope. Okay, I think we're back. So my bandwidth at home is not super high. I do have fiber internet. It's 300 meg. It's not the full gig. I'm probably gonna have to go with the full gig upload on the fiber here. Oh well, I was trying to cheap out on that. Let me see if I can get the focus also. I feel like that's gone a little out of focus on me. So still working on a few. Yeah, that's gone really out of focus. Come on, come up there. Focus on my awful hair. Wonder if I can. Please stand by. Let's double check that. Well, there we are. That's a little bit of focus. Okay. Sorry about that, as I'm trying to trying to figure that out. We should be okay though on the freeze ups now. I'll hit refresh over there on our stream and chat. Okay. Long tangent. Somebody was asking about future radar. Let's talk about that for a second. So future radar still exists in the app. So if we go to interactive radar on there, you can turn on the future radar by hitting the gear in the corner, and then you have to click down to where it says future radar down there. And I need to test my lag here in a second, so give me just a moment. 1001, 1002, 1003. Okay, that looks good. 1001, 1002, 1003. Yep, 3 seconds. It's supposed to be 3 seconds. So good. So if you click down there where it says future radar, you should be good. So that will then give you the 24-hour future radar that you can kind of toggle at the bottom. You can swipe it ahead. Future radar is... I've never been a huge fan of future radar on any app. I think this one does a pretty good, decent job. If you have it on the national radar, it will give you essentially a 1 hour extrapolation, for lack of a better term. So if we come down south here, it shows those storms down around Columbia, and it'll kind of show you where those advance over the last hour, kind of an interpolation based on the latest data, kind of where it's going. And unfortunately, that is chroma keying out there. So it just looks kind of clear, which actually has kind of a cool look to it. Anyway, so that's one of the issues of the future radar there. So it's going to be, anyway, yeah. So we're going to have to upgrade the internet here. I was just trying to cheap out and save an extra 20 bucks a month. That's not going to happen, is it? Okay, let's talk about some actual weather stuff here for a moment, and then we can kind of send you along your way, as I'm just kind of looking back here behind the scenes. And I do think we've kind of got the data issue pretty well figured out. I know that I'm bandwidth limited because I have two different computers of two different qualities, and that's what's it. At least we're not getting the gray frames, right? It'll just kind of speed up and slow down on that. Okay, so actual weather stuff. Let me get this. Oh, my computer's doing the right thing for a moment. So yeah, obviously, yeah, we're looking here at, heat. Feels like heat indices that are going to be high. Let's see here. Stay indoors. I'm checking to see. Gabe and Caleb have made a bunch of good graphics over the course of my time away. So ways to beat the heat. Look at that. Man, they've worked their tails off, haven't they? So anyway, a lot of great ways to beat the heat. I missed this because I was in Canada. So I appreciate them for putting that together. These are all designed for me. I'm going to end up standing over top of all of these here. This is what I was looking for. Heat alerts. Because obviously we still have those heat advisories in effect for basically Eupora, Houston, Amory, all that back to the north and west. The Delta is clearly Cleveland, Greenwood, Greenville. As we showed you a moment ago, it's been pretty rough, continues to be fairly rough for those spots. That's obviously where we already have heat indices over 100, likely to exceed that 105 heat level again this afternoon. A couple ways we can look at this. One way I'm going to look at this is we call the heat risk. And so we can look at this kind of day by day. So the heat risk is not to the extreme levels. This is a little bit different than the wet bulb globe. I'll see if I can pull that up for you here in a second. It does, as you can see, still show up with some major impacts again for tomorrow. And as we go beyond that into Monday and Tuesday, unfortunately, the significant heat risks do continue to materialize going forward up to the extreme levels you could see Tuesday of next week. So this is a little bit different than wet bulb globe temperature. I'm going to pull that up for you. Ooh, I do have it. And this is, I think, present. Oh, this is the one that loops. Hold on. Let me see if I can click stop. This will let me kind of toggle through it. Yeah. So today we're into that high. We still, when we're in the high category there, you can still do some outdoor activities, obviously. We don't want to, when we're getting in the black zone here, black in this case just means nope, not good. You'll notice for tomorrow as we go into your Sunday, we do have more of that black showing up, particularly in the Delta, which has typically been the case. This is where when we get in that time frame, 2 p.m. or so tomorrow, we don't need to be doing any outdoor strenuous activities during that time. That's where those are extremely limited when we talk about that scale. I need to put the scale on the graphic here. That's just something that didn't get done before I left. But Gabe and them did a great job making graphics, so who knows, maybe we're better off having the smart young kids do it. Monday, 2, 3 o'clock, most of us are in that no outdoor practicing should be happening. Doesn't matter if it's band, doesn't matter if it's tennis. We had fall tennis when I was in, for the ladies when I was in Kansas. So I know that sometimes that's the case, but whether it's soccer, whether it's baseball, softball, we don't need to do it. And obviously football, we don't need to be doing any of those practices. That's right, when that wet bulb globe temperature, when the likelihood of significant heat injury is greatest. You can see Monday afternoon, we're going to have issues there because actual temperatures are going to be in the upper 90s, if not near 100. And then again, Tuesday, that's the case for all locations as well. So probably very early morning or late evening practices, best case scenario there, certainly early morning on your Tuesday. You can see by 7:30 we're back in better shape, but obviously some major issues related to those wet bulb globe temperatures. That's that extreme heat heading into next week as we continue to be definitely impacted by that. Not a lot of folks excited about that, I'm sure. Certainly I'm not ready to have that back, though. That's something that, when we were in Canada, didn't have to experience much. Because, I'll show you where we're at in Canada, and it's still, I don't have my wide shot on this. Hold on, let's do the wide temperatures. There we are. So we were way up here in kind of Calgary. Let's see if it shows some of the spots we're at. Banff, Lake Louise. So like this has been hard for me to adjust because, right now it's 49 up there. Calgary, about the warmest spot we were, was 54. I say that, that's not true, because we were down closer to Vancouver, it was 60s. I know, that's like jokeable, laughable, not jokeable, but laughable in this case. Heat indices, yeah, are real rough out there, aren't they? So it's been an adjustment, to say the least, coming back to the reality of here, because obviously our situation is more significant, to say the least. Okay, let me check over here on some questions to check and see if there's anything. You had a great vacation, fantastic. We're lucky to have a great team. Thank you for New Hope there for watching, for Mayuka, and so many of you. One of the great things is that you can watch on the app. One of the hard things about watching on the app that I've kind of figured out over the process here is, oh, look at that. We got a new Skycam in Oxford. I'm gonna have to get online there with North Mississippi Storm Chasers. Appreciate Stam for reaching out and telling me that. New Skycam there in Oxford. So that's cool, even though it won't focus like that. I'm gonna have to see if we can tweak the autofocus on that camera a little bit. Problem with autofocus is it goes in and out. I usually like to set the focus and leave it. So that's, anyway. So appreciate everybody. Let's see here. Let's come up to, oops, well, I think I just let it go. I'm not gonna say anything else about any of the rest of them. So I did not make that announcement for Stan. I apologize for that. Appreciate everybody here for joining the U.S. Did not hear anybody up there talking about British Columbia joining the United States up there while we were up there. Appreciate y'all in Corinth and everywhere else. Just to, of course, I'm telling you, I am the cheapest human being you've ever met when it comes to that. I work on my cars to save money. I mean, I guess that's why everybody works on their own cars and do different things. I'm so cheap. It's not even funny. Okay. To recap here for just a second, maybe Baldwin will get in the Skycam game eventually, where the hope is to have a lot more out there. It's just taking some time. I appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and those of you that support them as they continue to try to expand that network of cameras across the region. We're just so thankful for the businesses, the people that support them and support us, obviously, as well. But I want to, again, go back to the beginning. First thing I mentioned, in case you missed it, this hugely important thing, which is that there's a new update to the app. Well, let's see, I just went away. Hey, heat advisory issued for my location. Thank you, Mississippi Live Weather. At the top there. So you can see that is automated. It doesn't just wait on me on some of those alerts. MSLIVE. Search. Okay. There has been an update to the app that has dropped. Man, can we just get that? That is out of focus the whole way through. I wonder if I can reach around. Well, we'll work on that. Anyway, there's an update to the Mississippi Live Weather app that has dropped. You want to download that. The big thing on that is it's been causing some power draw issues on the app. This fixes that. And it happened because when you would launch the app, wait a second I was on the beta version to make sure it was good, so I'm going to download the real version again. Boom. I'll click open. And so that video at the top, when you scroll out of the app, yes, it stays on there, but even sometimes when you would click it off on there, it would, oh yeah, look at that. That's jumpy now that I'm running video on that. I'm gonna have to upgrade my internet service here. Anyway, even after you closed it, it would go away. Julio, I promised you could do this. Come here. You wanna tell some people about the widgets on the app?
This is scary.
That's not scary. Nobody's watching. That's why I always tell the new people. I was like, nobody's watching. Because if you worry about people watching, then you get all worried. You got your crazy look on. Okay, you want to show them about the widgets? Here, I'm going to move it to a different screen so you can do that. Okay. So you can show them, you want to show them how to, here actually, let me minimize that for a second. I'll let you show them how to get widgets in the first place. That sound good? Here, and hold on. If you'll give me a second, I will clip the microphone to you. Now, you're going to have to hold it up high enough that people can see it, okay? all the banging as I do that. I'm gonna clip this onto you. Sound good? And I might just adjust the cam. You want me to adjust the camera down? Here, I'll clip that right there in your pocket. And I'll take this down a little bit. One other thing over here to see if I can fix the focus, because that's on the Enneagram I'm a 1, and that drives me crazy. Now I'm gonna switch this. Give it just a moment here to switch to the selfie camera, and then switch back to the front camera. And see if we are on live. I'm gonna let Leo do the widget thing. So we'll give him some space. I'm gonna point this down at you, little boy. Huh? Nobody's watching.
This is scary.
It's fine. Nobody's watching. He's got a green shirt on. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're mic'd up.
Here we go.
Okay. So that's the app. You want to show them how to do the widgets?
This is the app. You can do this, and those
Hold on, I'm zooming in a little closer.
The different widgets that you can do.
Okay, like I zoomed in a little bit, so hold it up a little higher. Okay, so those are the things. So how do you pull up the widgets?
You can like press and hold the screen, and press edit and add widget, and then you search different widgets. And
okay, now hold it up a little higher so if you can see on the screen next to you.
And you can search up.
Okay, so you can search widgets, or what you do is you just do, remember if you just do just the app itself, so you can bring up all the widgets from there. So you choose whichever side you want. So that's one of the sizes. Man, I'm so irritated that's not in focus.
Here's one of them.
Okay.
And there's another. And there's the last one.
Okay. But when you tap on those, can you pull? Oh, they all bring up the app, right?
Yeah.
Look, that's you talking about widgets. Let me go back to there. So yeah, so you have different widgets, and what are some of the things you can actually click edit the widget, I think, and you can change your location. So you can technically have multiple widgets. So if you wanted to monitor the location in multiple spots, you could do that too, right? Okay, so I'll let you do your thing.
And if you don't want the widgets, you can just do that.
And then you just back to the app.
So there are like here's the different widgets. These. You already saw these, but this is hourly for the day. That's all. And this is the current conditions. So this one is Saltillo, Mississippi, 85 degrees, mostly clear, 0% humidity, and 11 miles per hour north for winds. And then it does this, but it feels like 92 degrees, wind 11 miles per hour north, mostly clear, precipitation 0%. That was actually,
of course, those are sample, right?
Yes.
It's a little hotter than that right now.
This one is like the whole thing. Saltillo, Mississippi, 85 degrees, mostly clear, feels like 92, wind 11 miles per hour coming from north, cloud cover 50%, dew point 74 degrees, UV index 8, precipitation 0%, humidity 70%, visibility 10 miles, pressure 30.13 inches, air quality.
But you know what it doesn't have, unfortunately, now that you're pointing that out? It does not have UV index. And that is something that until you just read those off a second ago, I forgot about. I'm going to click add on one of those. See, and now you can have one, and then you take this. I think you can have it do two widgets, right? Yep. Yeah.
Then you can.
There you are. Well, we want to make that one a little smaller. So then they both fit on at the same time. Yeah, so you can technically monitor two locations with different widgets on there. at the same time if you want to, right?
Right.
But you know what doesn't have? Doesn't have the UV index. And
We need to add UV index on it.
I'll see if we can do that. But the thing is I didn't realize that many people cared about the UV index. I know that might sound ridiculous, but as a pasty person, we pretty much just put on sunscreen every time it's sunny out. I think UV index is in this list. Let me double check. Road temperature. Yeah.
There.
So we do have UV index right now on it. On the app. You have to go to map room to find it. I'll probably make a page that has, golly, the fact that's so, I'm sorry I get obsessed about one thing. The fact that's blurry, it's driving me nuts. Okay, go ahead, Leo.
And there it is. So you can have a large, medium, and small, which the small one is this.
Good work. Anything else you wanted to tell anybody?
Well, there are different types of the same widget. There are different types of them.
Oh, I think I found focus. Look. Hold on.
Here's all.
Okay. So
Dad's
hold it really
apps.
straight for just a second.
There's different types. So this is daily, hourly. So what we say now? So let's read it. There.
There you go. That's pretty much exactly describing it on there. You're like, boom. Right? Yeah. Like, boom. I just want to tell everybody, there actually are a couple people. Things people are saying.
Nice.
They are impressed with. I got this shot.
Really cool.
I'm gonna zoom the shot in the other way so I don't.
So that's the widgets. Please use them.
Oop! And it looks like our it looks like our video is running behind again.
Yeah, I'm just filling this whole spot
Yeah,
with.
you're doing a great job. Sorry, I had to disconnect and reconnect because it looked like it was doing the thing. Okay, and then that's.
Well,
Then
that's
Jealous came in here and decided she wanted to be on camera as well. And that's that. Anyway, she had her stage debut while we were out of town. That was great. Okay, enough of that. Anything else, Leo? And I'm going to probably go and wrap it up.
No.
Okay, well, if you stand right there since the mic's clipped to you, don't run away real quick. I will have weather updates tonight. I'm actually going to do weather for a change coming up tonight at 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock tonight to give Gabe and Caleb a night off. So, yeah. Ooh, man. Bombed. We're going to work on something on it. I'm going to my today. That doesn't happy on that. So we'll get that figured out. Anyway, test there. Well, why I have you all here, and I can test this with, as I always say, with live ammunition. It's absolutely bandwidth. It's absolutely bandwidth because my wife and daughter just got home, and I guarantee they're using their phones. And if they're using their phones, we're sucking down bandwidth, and we're sucking down bandwidth, then this is getting rough. So it looks like calling the fiber company is my next. Calling the fiber company is my next phone call. So that's what we will do. So, hey y'all, appreciate your support and thoughts and prayers, and for being there with Gabe and Caleb and Maggie while I was out of town. It means a lot. It really does that you would support us like this. So stay cool, stay hydrated, and again, that heat stress is at extreme levels over the course of the next few days, and yeah, someone's mentioned bandwidth boost. Yeah, that's the next phone call as soon as I get off with y'all. Okay, hopefully you're lucky enough to get some of the rain-cooled air today, unless, of course, you're getting married and you don't want that, in which case, hopefully it's dry. So we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.